छैन यस्तो दुख भयो उनीहरूले हामीले केही गरेर केही पनि सुटिङ गर्यो भित्रबाट सुटिङ गर्दा चाहिँ राइफल सर्टगन ह्यान्डगन सबैले हानिरहेको छ
In recent days, the small Himalayan nation of Nepal has once again fallen into the vortex of political and social turmoil. The capital city of Kathmandu, along with other major urban centers, has been engulfed in waves of increasingly violent protests, turning bustling streets into chaotic battlegrounds. Images of crowds chanting slogans, hurling stones at security forces, mixed with sirens and clouds of tear gas, have flooded social media, leaving the world stunned. The immediate trigger for this wave of demonstrations stems from deep public frustration with the stagnant economy. Rising unemployment, soaring prices, and above all, allegations of corruption within the government. Nepal has long struggled with the aftershocks of the pandemic and repeated natural disasters. As daily life grows harder, any delay or misstep by those in power easily ignites public anger into flames. In the central districts of Kathmandu, thousands poured into the streets. Red flags and banners demanding reform and government resignation were raised high. Groups of radical youths hurled bricks and stones toward riot police. In response, security forces deployed tear gas, water cannons, and batons to disperse the crowds. The clashes, the stampedes, and the screams turned the capital into a suffocating and tense battlefield. According to local reports, at least dozens have been injured in these confrontations, both police officers and protesters. Hospitals in Kathmandu have been overwhelmed with cases of head trauma, broken limbs, and respiratory distress caused by tear gas. A number of fatalities have also been confirmed, fueling even greater public outrage. On social media, videos of people collapsing, bleeding on the streets, spread like wildfire, adding fuel to an already raging inferno. What makes this wave of unrest even more alarming is that it has spread far beyond Kathmandu. Other major cities such as Pokhara, Viratnagar, and Lalitpur have erupted in demonstrations of their own. This expansion reveals that public anger is no longer confined to the capital. International observers warn that unless Nepal's government responds swiftly, the nation could descend into full-scale unrest, echoing the turbulent chapters of its not-so-distant political past. Nepal has endured decades of political instability, from an absolute monarchy, through a brutal civil war between Maoist rebels and the army, to the birth of a republic in 2008, the scars remain fresh. Public trust in government has repeatedly been shaken by endless power struggles, frequent leadership changes, and corruption scandals. Today's economic struggles, natural disasters, and failed reforms are merely the last drop spilling the cup, unleashing mass protests across the country. International journalists describe scenes in Kathmandu as urban warfare. Tear gas blanketed intersections, black smoke rose from burning vehicles, and chants clashed with sirens and the pop of rubber bullets. Once busy shopping streets and tourist hubs were deserted, shops shuttered, and residents fled in fear. The sense of insecurity now hangs heavy over the capital, raising fears of a total breakdown of law and order should the unrest drag on. Meanwhile, Nepal's government is under immense pressure. The Prime Minister and his cabinet have convened emergency meetings, calling for calm and promising to listen to the people's grievances. Yet these words ring hollow to a population that has lost faith. Protest leaders accuse the government of offering empty promises without concrete action, fueling even more suspicion and anger. Analysts note that this crisis is multi-layered, rooted not only in politics but also in economics and society. With a low GDP, dependence on tourism and labor migration, and deep vulnerability to climate change and global market shocks, Nepal has long been fragile. Against this backdrop, corruption scandals or failed policies act as sparks in a dry forest, igniting collective rage almost instantly. Adding to the fire is the role of social media. Within hours, videos of protesters clashing with riot police, wounded civilians crying out, and angry speeches were shared millions of times on TikTok, Facebook, and X, Twitter. This digital amplification makes the protests appear even larger and more unstoppable, further eroding the government's ability to control the narrative. The question now looms large. Where does Nepal go from here? If the government doubles down with force, casualties will mount, risking a full-blown national crisis. But if leaders agree to concessions, presenting real reform plans and engaging in dialogue, there is a chance to cool tensions. Yet rebuilding lost trust is no easy task, especially after years of broken promises. The international community has expressed grave concern. Human rights groups urge Nepal's government to exercise restraint, while regional powers like India and China closely monitor events, wary that instability in Nepal could spill over its borders and disrupt the fragile Himalayan balance.